Welcome back to my channel, everyone. Welcome back to the Karizma Speaks podcast and YouTube channel. I am your hostess, Queen Karizma, and today I want to just dive into sobriety, the topic of sobriety. Now, and if this topic offends you, because for some reason people get offended when you talk positively, I'm not sure why, then I do suggest you going to a different video, a different channel that better suits your needs, your entertainment needs. This video is based off of my opinion and my experiences, so I will be talking from that point of view. So let's get right into it. Sobriety. What do I mean by sobriety? What I mean by sobriety is free of alcohol, free of drugs, both legal drugs like um, marijuana, that's illegal in certain states, but it's still federally illegal, which is confusion, right? And we'll get into that. And then I'm also talking about free of delusion as well, free of fantasies and um, daydreams, because some people just walk around dreaming and they're not actually doing anything. They're just, I wish I coulda, woulda, shoulda, and they're just dreamers, but they're not doers. So that I'm talking about that as well. So let's stick to the drugs first, right? In a lot of states, we have seen that marijuana, some people call it weed, some people call it something else. It's legal in a lot of states now. And the thing about it is, even though it's legal, even though you might feel good when you smoke it, even though you might be smoking it because you feel like your problems are too hard to accomplish or too hard to get through, or you just feel like you can't do anything without smoking, right? And that's a lie. That's a lie, because we can do things without being intoxicated. We weren't born intoxicated, for those who parents didn't drink while pregnant, but we are able to tackle our own emotions, tackle our own problems. So really, that's no excuse. Even if it's legal, it doesn't mean that it's the right move. And the reason I say that is because it's easily a setup. It could easily be turned against you. Like I said, the state level, certain states might legalize it, but it's still a federal offense. So if you are caught with it by the feds, you could still be arrested. You could still go to jail. You could still have a record. Not only that, when we are intoxicated, I'm just going to use marijuana as the example, because I see that that's what's the most common legal drug, even though, again, it's still classified as a class A, I believe, federal drug that's illegal in the United States, is when you're smoking and you go to work, or you're smoking and driving, you can get a DUI. If you're at work and something happens, say somebody did something like a violent act, or somebody did something illegal, like there was fraud involved, and everyone gets investigated and everyone gets a drug test, and then yours come back positive for drugs. It doesn't matter if you're a good worker. It doesn't matter your title. None of that matters. You're now under scrutiny. People are now looking at you like you are not a professional. You're looked at as if you are incompetent of handling your own problems. You're looked at as if you're a druggie, right? A dopehead, all these derogatory names. You might not see yourself that way, but what that does is it brings unwanted attention to you, right? So, for example, there was a situation from someone close to me. This person, they used to smoke, but then they stopped smoking. And then the first person who was called to be tested during the job was that person. And they were so happy because they were sober, they were clean, like they were not taking any type of drugs, any illegal drugs, nothing. So when it comes to certain situations like racism, anti-blackness, or whatever discrimination you might face, when it comes that you are high or you are under the influence of drugs, all credibility is out the window. They could fire you. They could take your bag. They could take your license. If you're a licensed professional, they could take your license. And I get it. People don't want to hear this because people are going to do what they want to do. And this video is not to persuade you to stop doing what you want to do. I don't make my videos to influence anybody. This is just to educate the public and for those who are looking to change in a positive way and looking to better themselves. Like I said, I used to smoke, right? And so this is coming from a place of experience, not judgment, not looking down, not lecturing or preaching. I understand that drugs are addictive, and there's so many people who are addicted to drugs, even to marijuana, even though they say they're not. The justifications that I used to use, oh, it's natural, it's a flower, it's not like this is some hardcore drug, right? And that's an excuse as well. That's not a justification. We know that smoking, based on the research, leads straight to lung cancer. Lung cancer is a top 10 disease, chronic illness that leads to COPD and other related diseases, right? Lung cancer is one of the top 10 diseases that kills people in the United States. The number one is heart disease. So this is very serious because you have, on one hand, you have certain states that promote the drug that's illegal federally, that makes it look cool, right? With celebrities smoking, all you see is everybody smoking and drinking. And what you don't see is the aftermath. What you don't see is their diagnosis. What you don't see is the cancer that's slowly building, right? And then you got people, oh, well, I vape. Well, that still is the same thing. It's just smoke in a different way. It's just smoking in a different way. Whether you vape or not, that's not smokeless. Smoke still comes from the vape. So that's still no excuse. Oh, this is a fruit flavored. That's still no excuse. You're still smoking. You're still damaging your lungs, and you're still making yourself at risk for lung cancer. And based on my research and what I found out is that people don't take it serious because they don't see immediate repercussions. Immediate repercussions meaning you get that, whatever, you get the cancer right then and there. No, this happens when you're in your 40s, your 50s, sometimes earlier, where you go to the doctor because you're not feeling good, or your breathing is different, or your heart is different. And then come to find out it's because you have lung cancer or some lung associated disease or heart disease due to you smoking, being a chronic smoker, right? That's especially true for cigarettes, but it's also true for weed. Another excuse people will say is, well, I have an auntie or I have a family member or I know somebody who's been smoking all their life and nothing's wrong with them. Chances are they don't go to the doctor regularly. A lot of people, they don't want to hear what's wrong with them. They don't want to deal with it. They don't want to face the fact that something's wrong with them. So you can't trust that either, because people don't know what's inside people's bodies, right? There's a lot of people who die every day because they never went to the doctor to get a diagnosis. So just because it looks like on the outside nothing's wrong with them, if you go ahead and examine their insides, you will see that there's a lot of organs that's damaged because of the smoking, because of the drinking, right? Drinking, the overconsumption of alcohol, right? That damages your liver, right? What does your liver do? Your liver is an organ inside of your body that helps to clean out certain toxins, right? Just like your kidneys, and this is why a lot of people have end-stage renal disease, meaning they got kidney disease, which is incurable, and they have to go to a dialysis because they were drinking all their lives, they were smoking, and now they have all these diseases. Now they need a machine to help them breathe, right? For people with COPD, and some of them, they still smoke. They still smoke the cigarette right from the hole from their throat because it is an addiction. So, I mean, just a simple Google search will give you this information. But again, people don't want to listen. They don't want to hear it because they don't like positivity. They don't like construction. They don't like criticism. That's fine. But again, this information is for those who are interested. Now, what happens when we're sober? When we're sober, there's no fear of anything. There's no fear of retaliation. There's no fear of being caught under the influence driving, or there's no backlash for being sober, right? You don't offend anyone for being sober. You don't mess up any type of organs. You are clean. You're thinking clearly. You're doing things the right way because you are now emotionally aware. You are now aware of your feelings, and you're handling this on your own, no matter how hard it is, because it does get better. Once you start to manage your own emotions, your own situations without depending on a drug, then you are now independent. You're not codependent on any chemical, right? So when you're sober, you don't have that fear that other people have. People who smoke weed have this fear. Oh, okay, I need more weed. It never stops. It's just a toxic cycle, right? Because they made this a necessity. So now all their money's going to drugs, and alcohol is a drug as well. So alcohol is a drug and that means that it could be addictive. So you got a lot of people who, instead of coping positively, seeking a therapist, doing self-reflection, maybe journaling their emotions and feelings, maybe researching solutions to their problems, they're now codependent on a chemical, whether that's drugs, whether that's alcohol, and they're ruining their own lives, and they end up ruining their family lives because now somebody have to take care of so-and-so because they couldn't stop smoking. Now they have lung disease and need special care. Now somebody in the family is told to, oh, go take care of Uncle so-and-so, take care of your mother, take care of your father. And that's completely unfair. No one should have to sacrifice their life to take care of somebody who didn't want to stop smoking, who didn't want to stop drinking, who didn't want to seek help. And that's what you see a lot. People who don't want to change when the time is now to change, they're going to suffer the consequences later and end up in skilled nursing facilities, end up in a hospital, end up needing a machine technology to help them survive, whether that be something for their heart, a pacemaker, whether that means having to remove a lung because that lung is now full of cancer, right? This will affect everyone, whether you see it now or not. So the importance of sober, especially for the believers out there, the Bible says to be sober, to be vigilant, because your adversary is looking for who they could devour. So smoking is like a weakness. You're dependent on that. Drinking, if you're over consuming alcohol, you're dependent on that. That makes you an easy target for the enemy. That makes you an easy target for an enemy. So if you're up for a promotion and your enemy knows that you smoke weed, your enemy knows that you're an alcoholic, that's the first thing they're going to throw out there. Oh, look at this alcoholic, this drug head. They're addicted to weed. They're addicted to alcohol. I don't believe that they are ready for a leadership role. I don't believe that they're ready for a promotion because they are dependent on chemicals to do daily activities that normal people, grown adults, know how to do without the aid of any type of substance that alter their minds. So that's the first thing that will disqualify you from a high position, from a good job. A lot of jobs require drug tests, and a lot of people use somebody else's urine, which is illegal, and that's illegal federally. And also, there are people who they may do other illegal things to pass drug tests. That doesn't help the person. They're still addicted to the drugs, but that gives them a pass to fraudulently get a job, fraudulently get a promotion. But that's only temporary because usually it'll come out some way or the other, and people, they miss out on a lot of opportunities because they are addicted to drugs. because they don't know how to control themselves, because all their money is going to drugs. Now they don't have money to pay bills. They're choosing to basically get high rather than to handle their business like a grown person. And these are the people who usually have to borrow money. They call you, oh, can I borrow $100? Well, you had $100. You spent that $100 on weed. So why would I give you more of my money? Why would I even give you my money when we know that you're going to use that for alcohol? You're going to use that for weed. It doesn't make sense. So these are the beggars. These are the people who are always in debt because they don't know how to control their emotions. They don't know how to control their impulses, and they don't know how to control their money. They don't know how to manage their money. So this is why they're always in a certain position. God never raises them to a high position. They never do better than average because they still have not disciplined themselves enough. And that's what people hate. When you're sober, you're disciplined. Sobriety means that you are free of any drugs, free of any alcohol. Now, am I talking about you can never drink? No, I'm not. If it's something that you, like a graduation, for example, like my graduation's coming up, will I have a glass of champagne? Maybe, but I don't drink on a daily basis. And I don't believe that people should depend on that to cope, to decompress, but that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. I think we need to focus on positive ways to cope, positive support systems. If it's not in our family, we need to go and make it ourselves. Like I made this channel. A lot of people who follow me, they are part of my support system virtually. They support by liking the video, by commenting, by joining in on the interviews, emailing me. So I built this community because of the need for support outside of my family, outside of friends, or whoever else. So you could do the same thing. There's plenty of support out there, but people don't want support. They want to basically destroy themselves until it's too late. Again, this is important for us to get a handle over. If you are addicted to a substance, if you are an addict, and the first thing people say is they're not. That's one of the first things is denial. That's how you know somebody is an addict, when they deny it. I'm not an addict, but they smoke every day. They can't stop smoking. An example of that is Snoop Dogg. Everywhere that Snoop Dogg goes, he has to smoke. 50 Cent said when he had him on Power, he had to tell him to stop smoking in the trailer. Now, Snoop is what? 40, 50 something years old at this point, almost 60 years old. I seen another clip, right? Where he, I seen two instances, and this is alleged, where he actually hired a weed, what was it? A roller, somebody to roll his weed for him. And she said that she said that she rolled over 100 blunts a day for him. Another clip I seen, he was going to a Kardashian party. I think it was Kris Jenner's birthday. And there was a clip of Kim Kardashian, who's not a smoker. And I don't think any of the Kardashians smoke. I could be wrong. I don't know what they do. But she says she doesn't smoke, so we'll go with that. And he had to call and ask permission if he's able to smoke weed in Calabasas at a party. So it becomes embarrassing. People think it's cool. People think that's funny. It's embarrassing. It's really embarrassing that you have to ask somebody if you could smoke, right? So just think about this. Again, this is not from a place of judgment. This is from experience. This is something that you may have to battle with all your life because of anxiety or whatever it is. But those are negative coping mechanisms. They don't last long, and you will dig yourself into a grave, literally, because it will come out. Whatever you put in is going to come out. It may not be tomorrow, may not be 5 years from now, but you will get that diagnosis. You will get that condition. Your body will change. So I just urge people to start taking their health seriously and start looking for positive coping mechanisms, mental health support, and support that's going to help you not be in the hospital when you're 50 years old, not being alone to deal with your own cancer when you're a certain age, because I guarantee you people will forget about you and they will continue to live their life. So we got to do better and keep our health first. Again, this is not for everybody, but for those who's listening, I appreciate you, and I will see you on the next video. Everyone who supports me, make sure you like the video, share, and subscribe, and I will be back for more tough conversations like this. Peace.